This week, we're talking all about assessments that you can do on your own for your own at home for your own language skills. So, one of my very favorite language learning tools is Pimsleur. It's absolutely fantastic. If you're unfamiliar with it, I would highly recommend it. Um, it was developed by Dr. Paul Pimsleur, amazing man, spoke I don't know how many languages. He was a professor, really passionate language teacher and learner. And essentially, Pimsleur's 30-minute lessons, and I think most languages tend to have 30 lessons per level, and they tend to come in 5 levels. So it's really perfect for the novice level. That's really where it's targeted to take you from being a novice level learner into being able to create with language. And they use a lot of spaced repetition, etc. You can do it in your car, right? You can repeat after the speak. You can do it while you're walking. I mean, it's really, really, really flexible. So it's great because the assessments are built in. So you go through the lesson and they have you do one lesson a day, and you do this over 30 days, and then you can repeat lessons. So if you felt like you couldn't, you didn't retain sort of 80% of the lesson, you just do it over again, do it the next day, and then you move on. But it's really great that throughout the lesson they have prompts. They tell you what to say. So they teach you a conversation and they break it all down into bits, and you speak when you're prompted. And can you say it? No. Or yes, right? And then that tells you whether you can move on. It's absolutely brilliant. I highly recommend it. And it's really great. All the hard work's done there for you. It's really great self-guided learning. If you're a little bit more, advanced, if maybe you took, I don't know, French in college or something like that, I wanted to share with you a resource from the College Board. And advanced placement is a program run by this company called the College Board in the United States, though people participate sort of all over the world. And it's really sort of, college level, university level courses for high school level students. And some colleges and universities will grant students credit for having, successfully completed an exam based on whatever standard it is that that particular school set. But what's really great about the language ones, they have Italian, Spanish, French, German, Japanese, Mandarin, and I there may be another one, is that it tests that sort of B2 intermediate high intermediate level. And so there's great materials to not necessarily test yourself to see your level, but though you could use it that way. But really interesting materials to learn a lot about culture. And what they offer on their site is what they call their free response questions. So they're things like a short oral presentation, an argumentative essay, a conversation. And so it gives you a lot of tasks, right? That for you to practice, which is fantastic. Now, if you're interested in sort of how you would do on this, is you just go on Amazon and you can buy the practice books, which aren't necessarily from the people who make the test, but they're designed to help, provide practice for people to do this successfully. So then they'll have sort of, mock tests, and you can give yourself a test and see your scores, and then you can use it to improve. And maybe you keep working through the materials, and there are tons of books out there for these world language exams. So a really great way to both learn and assess and move your skills forward if you want to be, you know, quote unquote fluent. It's a fantastic resource and will provide you with lots of interesting experiences with your target language culture if it's one of the ones they offer. Also on Amazon, is a way to these aren't textbooks, as you can see, but you can order lots of textbooks. Actually, we'll talk about that a little bit more in another video, but I want to talk about reading, assessing yourself with reading. So what you can do here with books that you've read or that you're reading is kind of make them interactive. So you can take a post-it note and sort of quiz yourself and say, okay, write 3 things that happen on this page, or you can do it per chapter. Maybe you want to do it in a notebook. But what's really great about it is it's very interactive and it brings you back to the text. And if you do that enough and you do it deeply enough, you'll really improve your reading skills. Language schools. So interestingly, I've discovered and have taken many language school tests. So a lot of language schools, particularly in Europe, will have a test that they publish online, and you know, you can kind of take the questions. You can just Google, you know, sort of language school test B2 whatever it is, right? You'll language school proficiency test, language school entry test. And typically what they do is they have you take a test that a lot of schools will actually have the same test. And you know, it'll start very easy. It's very traditional. They might be sort of cloze activities, or you pick the right vocabulary, or you pick the error or whatever, and they get the last questions are more complicated. And then they pair that with a speaking activity. And the point is not about the language school, right? Because we're talking about things that you can do at home. The point in all of this is to kind of get a, you know, a little idea of your level. I found it really helpful in when I was working on my Italian and my French. And when I actually studied many years ago in Spain at a language school, I had to take an entrance test. And I discovered years later it being online. So I know that these language schools, you know, someone produces these and a bunch of private schools use them. But it's really, really helpful and useful because it gives you an idea of the types of grammar that you might need to know at any given level. The next one is a prompt workbook that I made of tasks. So I think the most effective language learning is always built around tasks, right? Tasks being things that we can do, right? Do I need to send back a dish that was burned? Do I need to talk to a doctor about my health in these languages, right? And then all the language that I learn is all framed around that. So I'll link that for you. There's more than 400 prompts to build and assess fluency in any language. And of course you can do that anywhere. And they're very easy, and they really build up. Next week, we're going to talk all about formal ways to have more formal ways to have your language proficiency assessed. Until next time.